Hi everyone, welcome back to Round the Business World with Gia. Today I am here with Mr. Milan Ganatra, an avid entrepreneur, investor, and the founder of One Silver Bullet, and also the former founder of Miles Software. I'm extremely glad to have you here today, and I can't wait to hear more about you. Let me know once you're ready, and we can begin with the interview.
Yeah, Gia, we're ready. Let's shoot.
Okay, great. So, my first question is from your early life segment. You've had an extremely inspiring journey from being a young boy delivering newspapers to having being one of the largest entrepreneurs in our country. Can you tell us a little bit about how this transition happened?
So I come from a very humble background. My father was blind. He was carrying a disease called retinitis pigmentosa. So I was given the responsibility at a very early age, and obviously I always wanted to do a business because being from a Gujarati family, business runs in your blood. But started with being a newspaper vendor, then was selling door to door. We were I was selling screens and several other products to really maintain myself and my family. So that was what was a great journey. And obviously, one of the key things was while I was sitting on the steps of my college, one of my friend was headed to so-called computer classes at that point of time. Was that is that what was told? And I said, let me not do time pass and let me try and go to this place, which is erstwhile it used to be called as Apple Computers. Now it's called Aptech. I was pretty inspired with seeing people working on that. This was way back in 1987. Pretty impressed with that, and I said, let me try to create a career in IT. And yeah, and being part of a broking firm, then I joined a broking firm as an office boy, and which they were one of a very large broking firms, and I could see people investing, and most of the times they used to see profits but were never able to book profits. So which is where I thought there is a great opportunity for people who are into wealth advisory business, portfolio management business, or a mutual fund business, but I wasn't good at that. So I thought, let me create technology tools for them, which will allow me to participate in the success of that business by providing tools in that business. So that is really my story about it. And I feel the way people take care of their health, they need to take care of their wealth as well and get the right advisors. And being part of, I mean, as I told you, I may not be a great advisor to manage wealth, but I thought of providing tools to them, and which is what is all about Miles Software. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Gia.
Yes, it did. Thank you. Now, my next question is related to this. If you had to give your younger self advice at that point of time, what advice would you give?
Yeah, I feel I could not really study well because I had these pressures of earning money. So I would always urge people to really get yourself educated. You're lucky. Most of the times your parents are funding you. So make sure that you put your initial days, put a lot of hard work there. Because I keep telling people is put in 10 years of your best effort. You can chill for another 50 years, or chill for first 10 years and work hard for 50 years. So what is your choice? So I think your choice should be put in your best efforts for the first 10 years of your career, and then you will relax for next 50 years, or play chill in first 10 years and then slog it for 50 years. So I think that is what I would advise them.
All right, I think there's some good advice there as well. My next question is more related to the personal yet professional segment, which is what motivates you?
Yeah, so I'll tell you whatever I have created, and if that is being used by my clients, that is the biggest motivation. So let's say I created a software and I could see people using the reports being generated out of my software or taking decisions using that software. That gave me the highest satisfaction and motivates me. So whatever your creativity is, if people use your creativity, I think that is the biggest motivation factor. So I think whatever you produce or create or your service is people bringing it to use, taking decisions on that, I think is the biggest motivation factor. So yeah.
All right. My next question is a little odd. However, I've been asked to ask you this question while collecting my research, which is you didn't own a car and you prefer traveling by local transportation as you did not want to waste time and it's quicker to reach your destinations. Do you still believe in this or has it changed over the years?
I still prefer to use public transport because that's the quickest way to reach any two places. You waste very little time. You're not worried about parking. You're not worried about traffic. I think a lot of things go away out of your head. You can just hop in, hop out. And thanks to, I felt Ola and Uber was created for me because for people like me, it was so damn convenient. Earlier used to go by buses and trains and so on because train I thought was the is is extremely convenient in terms of how quickly you can reach. Hopefully metro would be there in Mumbai, and probably now it'll be a little more comfortable. But yeah, I've given still my preference. I would continue using public transport because I think it's extremely convenient, and it saves immense amount of your time. uh, yeah, but there are it's not comfortable for sure with the amount of humidity we face in Mumbai. But I think the advantages what it has takes away all the disadvantages it would have. So yeah, still prefer. Yeah, but this pandemic has definitely changed. I've been working from home from last 14, 15 months, so not traveled a bit. And yeah, I would say I would not still prefer to use my car, but I would still prefer to use any of these. It gives you extreme flexibility, liberty to move in, move out. You're not really worried about parking, your driver waiting, or I think it gives immense flexibility, immense flexibility.
All right. Now, my next question is related to your professional life, starting with Miles Software. It was the company that you built and nurtured for over 25 years. It was also a market leader in the wealth management sphere for a very long time. Why did you decide to sell it, and was it difficult for you to let go of the company?
Honestly, it was not difficult for me to let go because I have a sterling idea which I want to really bring in, which is one silver bullet. So it was like a thinking was that I was traveling in a Rajdhani train, which was running at a decent speed. But if I want to get into a bullet train, I have to get off that train. I got to get off to that platform, take another train so that my journey can be further. So I'm pretty motivated. Yeah, you created something. I wish it continues the success which I had, and it would succeed more. That's the only concern I have. But I think it's in able hands, and probably it will succeed and achieve greater heights. But no, I personally didn't think it was a hard decision. Probably it's like you're getting into a better space, so it's like, yeah, you have some sentimental values, some emotional values to it. Let's say you're moving from a one bedroom house to a four bedroom house. You would always feel that you're going to miss your old house or old home, but eventually you're going to think about what lies ahead in future for you. So I think yeah, it didn't yeah, I lose my colleague. I miss my colleagues. I mean, which were part of my earlier stuff, which I ensured that they don't come along with me because I wanted to make sure that the earlier organization succeeds. The Miles succeed. Because if they join me in my newer venture, the chances of continuing, I mean, Miles continue to have success would become slightly difficult. So yeah, so it was not a difficult decision, fortunately.
All right. Now, I think you answered a bit of my next question, which is you've started a company called One Silver Bullet. Can you tell us the idea or the meaning behind its name?
Yeah, so Silver Bullet stands for solving a complex problem very simply. So yeah, so it has a meaning behind it, and which is what I'm trying to work upon, is trying to solve a very complex problem of digitizing what is not got digitized so far. So, and then making it extremely simple. So, and one stands for saying we want to be really number one in what we're doing. So we want to be a number one in solving the complex problems simply. Hence, it is called One Silver Bullet. So yeah, it has it is a the name has been very well thought through. Uh, I love the name, and I think it is going to stand by what it means. So it means, as I told you, complex problem simply, and hope we stand by that. Yeah.
Honestly, I love the name also. And my next question is, were there any mistakes you made at Miles that you wouldn't want to repeat here at One Silver Bullet?
Oh, I think I made few thousand mistakes. So yeah, and I keep telling one thing is when you can make newer mistakes, why repeat old ones? That's something which is really really gone into my head. Yeah, so as I told you, made thousands and thousands of mistakes at Miles, quite a few of them, and I'm trying to avoid, I would say, quite a few of them, so that uh, I mean, it will be really stupid for me to really make those same mistakes. Yeah, so I'm really really avoiding those mistakes. But yeah, I made plenty of mistakes.
All right. I really like what you said about why make old mistakes when you can make new ones. Now, my next question is, where do you see One Silver Bullet in, say, the next 5 years?
Okay, we want to become a de facto standard of communication for investment products and insurance, so that obviously de facto standard not just in India but globally. So we're working on a protocol, gateway, whatever you want to call, that kind of simplifies integration between two businesses, which is we're starting off with a journey of integrating the distributors to the manufacturers of invest or of the financial products. So we're looking at standardizing this, and I they are our objective is to become a de facto standard globally. So yeah, but it may not happen in 5 years. It may take 7 8 years. But yeah, we're working very very hard to create that standard.
All right. That's a really good plan as well. My next question is, you've been involved in the Indian fintech ecosystem since around 1998. What have been the significant transformations you've seen between then and now?
Yeah, I think things have changed dramatically. I've seen uh, customers becoming far more knowledgeable. There's plenty of capital available. When I started, there was no capital available, so we mandatorily had to be bootstrapped. So was capital was extremely scarce. The adoption, see, I think the acceptability of be using technology has become now a given. You don't have to convince people saying is, oh, you need to be on the platform or you need to use technology to run your business. I think that's given. At that time was completely different, where a the infrastructure was not available. You had desktops were expensive, laptops were not seen, was a rare commodity. Internet was just not there. So I think it's transformed completely. So I think the timing right now for being into fintech is amazing, because the adoption is high. There's lots and lots of tools available for you to really create your ideas far more easily than what we did 25 years back. I think things have changed. Things seems to be very very exciting right now. Was extremely difficult, and also one more very important thing: the willingness to pay money by customers, whether it was per transaction or so on, was just not there. Today that's transformed. So I think it's a whole different world.
Yeah, definitely. There's been so much more acceptance of technology in these days. My next question is, how would you describe your journey over the years?
Yeah, I think it's been very exciting. Fortunately, I kept on setting goals for myself, and I've been one of the lucky ones to really meet my goals. But although I was always delayed to meet my goals by a few years, so if I set a goal, what I was going to do in 2005 happened in 2008. What I set myself for 2008 happened to 2010. But I've been very lucky to meet most of my goals so far. And my journey has been so nice, where I met so many nice people along the way, whether they were customers, whether they were part of my old company, whether they were investors in my company, or they were friends. And I kept on making friends all along, whether they were my clients, whether they were my employees, or part of Miles or investors, I kept on creating friends. I think the journey has been brilliant of creating so many friends and well-wishers. So yeah, I would not have been, I mean, I'm extremely lucky to find so many good people around me.
All right, that's great. Now, my next and my final question is, what plans do you have for the future?
Okay, my plan is to kind of keep creating, keep ideating, keep creating new things, and that hopefully transforms the way we do business. Whether I am an investor in that company, whether I am just an advisor in that company, or I'm a founder in that company, that does not matter. What matters is, are you part of something what is extremely creative, and that would help simplify of doing business, or business becomes far more robust. So I want to be part of that. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So that was it for my interview. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I definitely enjoyed having you here. I think your story is extremely inspirational, and a lot of students would be inspired watching this. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Jia, for your time, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for being a part of it. I extremely enjoyed having you here. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.